You're listening to Cornerstone Kids, a parenting podcast, a series about practical ways you can become the primary disciple maker of your home. Hey guys, I'm Jessica and this is John Michael, and we are some of the children's pastors here at Cornerstone Nashville in Madison. And today we are giving a bit of background on Cornerstone Kids, who we are, kind of our heart behind creating yet another parenting podcast. There's like a million out there, so we're doing one, and it's exciting, but there are a lot already out there. So I guess let's start by talking about kind of our heart behind why we want to create a parenting podcast or podcast in general in the midst of everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, number one, I don't listen to a ton of podcasts, so I'm just going to say we're the only one out there. Yeah. We're going to be the best one for our families to listen to. And I mean, that's kind of the main thing is we wanted to create something, yes, that anybody can listen to, anybody can watch, but is specifically for the families that we're journeying with here at Cornerstone, because Jessica and I are parents ourselves. I have 2 young kids. You kind of have a broader age range of elementary and then 3-year-olds. Yep. And so, I mean, we're talking as parents, we're giving our perspective, journeying as parents just like you are. And so, I mean, that's kind of the big thing is we want to encourage, we want to give advice, we want to help disciple parents as you do the same for your household. But a little background, I have been here at Cornerstone for 8 years. I know that sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of staff members who are like 15, 20 years. So I'm still like I'm still a newbie compared to like you. You've been here. I
don't know. I've been here 14 years.
See,
but
there you go.
Only in children's ministry for, I mean, I say only, I guess 11.
Only
12
only 11
years. But, you know, I mean, it's totally different. It feels like it's different every single year. I mean, we kind of look at what's happening in our culture and just go, hey, you know, we need to make a change here. Let's do something different. And we kind of switch up those events. Just fun. It's a whole new thing. You get to meet lots of people, and our families there are families and people on my team that have been here for longer than I have. So, so yes, it is crazy.
Wild. 20 years serving as a Cornerstone Kids volunteer, which is great. And everybody should do that. So anyway, we've been here for a minute. But in regards to Cornerstone Kids and kind of our philosophy and core values, just a couple things. And the last one pertains to why we're doing this is, number one, a core value at Cornerstone Kids, I think, children's ministries in general, is we want to create a safe environment for every child for 0 through 5th grade who comes in, because we, want our families to feel confident when they drop their kids off. And just as important, we want new families to feel confident. And that's often the number one question buzzing around in every parent's mind when they drop off for the very first time is like, is my kid going to be safe with you?
Yes.
And so we want that to be an easy yes. The next one is we want to make sure kids have fun. So we bring the fun. So yes, safety is first. Second is we want kids to have a good time. And so we create high energy, engaging services that are kind of curtailed to each kid's age group to make sure they're having a great time. And so when that parent picks up, whether it's for the first time or the 100th time, we know they asked, did you have fun? Did you have a good time with your friends? And so we want that to be a yes from every child. Thirdly, even though this should probably be ahead of the fun,
there's a reason for the fun being first. So you can keep going.
Because I've heard these conversations. Thirdly is the learning. Is the, hey, what are you learning? How are you growing in your relationship with God? And so again, that probably should be before fun, but the question's always asked, did you have fun?
Did you have fun?
But then we want to make sure kids are growing, they're learning, their devotional life is growing. So that is third. We want to make sure that every child is growing in their walk with God. And then the fourth one, and why we're doing this, is that we as a ministry want to partner with parents. And so we want to make sure beyond Sunday that we are resourcing you in the best way possible so that you're winning as a parent, that Monday through Saturday is so much more beneficial than the 70 minutes on a Sunday and then maybe a Wednesday night. So we want to make sure that you're finding that time to help your child grow in their walk with God, that you're spending time together as a family, that when you're like, man, what are we going to do? What can I do? Like,
right.
I have so much going on. I work a 9 to 5. My kids are in school. We have sports. There's so many things being thrown at you that you can go to a place, whether it be this podcast, whether it be another resource on our websites or social media, to be like, okay, here's a structure that I can implement twice a week during dinner,
right.
or every night before bed.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of lay it out for you so you can implement it. And then your child knows, like, hey, my spiritual leader is my mom, is my dad, is my guardian, because that is your role in your home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so back really quick to the fun thing.
Okay.
You know, it's hard because parents, you know this firsthand. When you are trying to get a point across to a child, they're not going to respect. They're not going to listen to unless you have built in that time, unless you have spent time with them. They know that they can trust you. You've built a relationship with them. Then they're going to engage with you a lot better. And so the reason that the fun is there, because there is a lot of flack on that for children's ministry, that, you know, why it's just all fun and they don't learn anything. But yeah, we have fun because we only get this short amount of time with the kids. And so we want to build that relationship of trust. We want them to be able to trust us and to want to engage and to want to learn from us. And so that kind of builds that bridge between that, so that they can be like, okay, yeah, no, I'm having a great time. I'll listen to what you have to say, and I'm gonna do that. And so when we say, you need to read the scripture verse this week, you need to read this Bible story when you get home with your parents, they're more apt to be like, hey, Pastor John Michael told me that I needed to do this, and so I'm going to do that. I mean, my son's done that. He's like, hey, my teacher said we have to do this when we get home. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because they love that teacher. They respect that teacher, and they take their words seriously. And so that's why I think the fun is before.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the old saying, like, people in general don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right.
And so the fun aspect kind of plays into that, where kids are having fun, they're building relationships with other children and their leaders. And then through that relationship, through that fun and engaging activities, and they're excited, high energy, they're more likely to, you know, let's calm down, let me listen to my leader, this person cares about me. And so, maybe that is why the fun is.
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
I always put it there because I always hear the question, as soon as kids get picked up, did you have a good time? Did you have fun? Like, it's always first question out of mom and dad's mouths. I even ask it to my 3-year-old. Did you have a good time?
Yeah. When I do something for them, or when I take them somewhere, I you know, just the other day we were doing something, and afterwards I was like, was that fun? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, because as a parent, it brings you joy, I think. But you were saying, you know, as far as the podcast is concerned, parents becoming discipleship makers or disciple makers at home, and that's just, man, top priority. And we're right in the thick of it with our kids, you know, doing that and trying to figure out how to do that. And so sometimes, you know, there's a big broad spectrum of parents right now in, you know, how you work. Is it both parents are working in your home? Is it single parent in your home working? Like, what does that look like? And so there is not a one size fits all in that. And I think it's just getting to the heart of the desire of wanting to disciple your child is really the goal. And for us, like you said, providing opportunities so like, if this is a season where you have to have Post-it notes all over your house or everywhere you go to remind you of something, then that's cool. Like, you know, do that. But whatever it takes, you know, my goal as a parent and as a godly parent, it should be your goal as well, is to disciple your child, you know, so that they have a relationship with Christ.
And again, I mean, got some kids,
my
kids in
children
the background. That's parenting. I think too, I'm often one, like, when I hear of, like, okay, I'm the spiritual leader of my household, I need to raise my children in, you know, a godly manner. I need to make sure that their relationship with God is solid. But then I look back, I have almost 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. So what does that look like? Like, that's not, all right, we're going to spend 7 days a week reading scripture and praying. And
John Daniel doesn't do his devotion in the mornings.
Exactly, it's totally different. And so, I mean, it's going to look different for every person. It doesn't have to be, I think, an every night thing for 30 minutes. Like, ultimately super structured. It can be something where you start small, or hey, maybe Tuesday, Thursday during dinner, you have discussions. Every night before bed, it's a 5-minute prayer. As your kids get older, maybe you have them lead out. I know for our daughter, because she is getting older, she has a little kid Bible with pictures, and it's a 1-page, like, really quick Noah's Ark, and I'll do my best to read it, and we'll get sidetracked with, yes, that's an animal. Let's talk about all the animals. But it is creating those rhythms where, hey, we're gonna read our Bible before bed. We're gonna pray over you before bed. Now we ask her, is there anybody you want to pray for? And so we'll just name off the 5 names she knows. Like, I want to pray for C, G, and G Dad, who are grandma and grandpa, or little things like that. And so it's going to look different. I mean, if your child's older, obviously, it can be a little bit more in depth. Scripture memorization. I mean, we're working with Bonnie right now, Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous. Like, literally, that's
super short.
Like, if she can learn, be strong and courageous. I don't even know if she can fully say courageous, but it's just working on it. Probably. And it's just working on it. It's just, hey, I'm gonna start slow. We're gonna start small. We're gonna build on it. But my personality is like, I got to do everything at once.
Right.
And if I fail at it, then I just stop. I'm like, it didn't work out.
Again.
So it is kind of hey, take it slow, start small, and then grow off of that. And then again, if you miss a night, like, oh, we forgot to pray before bed. There was a tantrum. Yeah. And I just was like, I got totally thrown off our game. Or we wanted to pray before dinner. Yeah. But, it was all I could do to just get everybody to sit down at the table.
Right.
Like, it's okay for it not to be perfect, but we're going to try. We're going to create rhythms. It's going to grow, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, and what we want to do is help you in those rhythms. So provide resources, which will give you the information. It'll be linked, with our stuff as well. But give you those resources where we can help you make it easy, whether it is in the car, listening to a podcast or listening to something. We have a Spotify account for Cornerstone Kids. And so that's updated each month with songs that we're doing upstairs. We're starting a new song this month upstairs. And we were just talking about this. My goal is that, the parents will hear this song on the radio and that the kids hear it and they'll start singing it. And the parents are like, oh, you know this too. And that's something that they can talk about. It's something that they can, and that's so small. It's a little thing, but when you make those little things intentional, and you realize that God's using those tiny little things, to make a big difference and to build those relationships with your children, it's bigger than you think it is. Yeah. And so those little things. And you were talking about dinner. Like, we bought like these little cards that are like conversation starters from this sweet little company called Tiny Theologians, and it's great. It has a little like Bible. I love it so much.
It's a great little name.
It is great. And it's like they have like these little cards, and they're like conversation cards. And so we sit down at the table, and my son will be the first one to be like, can I go get the card? Can I go read the card? And we're all sitting there eating, and he'll pick up the card and he'll bring it over and read it. And then on the back of the card, it's like, well, what did you learn? What do you think about this? What did the main person we were talking about, the character in the Bible? And it just starts that conversation. And listen, we're not at the dinner table every night. We are doing a million things. So that's like once or twice a week, but it's something that he looks forward to. Yeah. And we do it consistently enough. Consistent doesn't mean every single day. Consistent just means that it is part of like a core value of your home. It's something that you do, and they'll remember that growing up. Yeah. So it's not going to be, oh, I forgot to do it, or we haven't done it for 3 days. Doesn't mean, okay, well, I'll start again. This isn't a diet, I'll start again the next month on the 1st. But you pick it up just when you can and do stuff like that. But again, we want to make sure that there are so many, almost kind of flood you with opportunities like that, like putting Post-its all over your house, like opportunities where you're in the car or you're at home, or, it's something that you leave with from church and your kid has it in their bedroom now, anything like that can just strike up a conversation, or you can put on and y'all can start listening to, recapping with, your child to talk about the Lord and really make Jesus the center of your conversation, because in our culture so much, obviously, he's not. Yeah. And so as much as possible in my home, even though we've talked about Fortnite, we talk about different things, I want
Mario.
This is where you're not here yet.
We got Moana. Big.
Yeah.
Moana's a big one. Danny Go, who's like faith-based, fun. He's great. We'll watch Danny Go a lot.
But as much as possible to make God the focus and the center of everything, almost like I don't even know if I should say it, but like in a cheesy way. Like it feels, sometimes it feels like really silly. Like I feel like a child's character on a TV when I'm like, is that something that Jesus would like us to do? But like, honestly, we really need to, as much as possible, make him the center of our home. And what that looks like for you is not going to look like somebody else's family. So finding that rhythm, and that's our goal. That's why we're here. That's why we want to help. Yeah. And because we're right in the middle of it with you, and we're learning and discipling our kids.
Yes, we are learning. We're also learning as we're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening today. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new about yourself, your kids, or even God's plan in your parenting. If you like this episode and want to keep up with new episodes, please hit that share and subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out our free parenting resources that can help create peace, routines, and relationships in your home. Just visit cornerstonenashville.org/parent resources. We'll see you next time.